What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be reacting to the college football playoff and the New Year's 6 games that just came out. This is not a prediction video. This is just a reaction to the rankings, to the top 4, and to the matchups that were set by the committee for the New Year's 6 bowls. And you may notice something a little different in the background. Hold on, let me grab him. It's arrived. In case you don't know, I don't think I've ever talked about it, but I bought a cardboard cutout to sit in the horseshoe for Ohio State's home games. No, I did not get on TV. That answers that question. But yeah, he arrived in the mail probably about a week ago. I've just never shown him off. But he's here. Now there's 2 of me, so I'm going to have fun and deal with that. I'm just going to set him down here. But anyway, let's move on to the reaction. So first, we're going to look at the playoff bracket. Here it is. Exactly as I predicted on Friday and this morning as well. Thank you to you guys who watched that video. Sorry, my internet was being slow and wouldn't upload it fast enough, so I apologize for that. It got out like right in the nick of time. A couple people got on and watched it, so thank you for that. But anyway, it was as expected. There's been a lot of people talking about whether Notre Dame deserved it, and here's how I see it. In the conversation between Notre Dame and Texas A&M, there's going to be logistics and money involved with it, but just by looking at it out on the field, I think the committee got it right. Now, I'm not saying they got it right necessarily because these are the 4 best teams or the 4 most deserving. I think Cincinnati should be in. I think Coastal Carolina should be in. But the decision ultimately came down to between Notre Dame and Texas A&M. I think Notre Dame deserved to be in. They've proven they can beat Clemson. Now, I don't really care for the opinion of, well, Clemson beat them at full strength while Notre Dame beat them when they weren't at full strength. It's still a solid win. Also, Notre Dame beat North Carolina, who you're going to see later in this video. They made a New Year's 6 bowl game after they knocked the doors off of Miami. And Ian Book, still when he was pressured a lot in that game, still went 20 for 28. In my opinion, I think Notre Dame's going to give Alabama a better shot than Texas A&M would. I think the committee got it right in the sense that these are the 4 most complete teams in college football. Now we can all sit here and argue what the committee does right and does wrong, but this is the 4 teams here. It was as I predicted, nothing too surprising here. There definitely is going to be an argument about Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Although I don't think it's necessarily going to matter because Alabama's a really good team, and I think they're going to be able to beat Notre Dame or Texas A&M. Prediction video will come in about a week or so on New Year's 6 games. But regardless, this is definitely what definitely what would have happened given the circumstances that played out. I think the committee was put in a tough spot this year because they weren't able to compare out-of-conference games. They weren't able to compare a whole lot, teams playing different number of games, what have you. The conference champions, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State are in. Notre Dame was close, except they got beat by Clemson pretty badly. But that didn't seem to matter. It didn't matter in my mind. I thought Notre Dame was still going to get the nod over Texas A&M. A&M had beaten 2 teams with a winning record all year. That was Florida, which is a pretty good win, but also Auburn, which is, you can debate whether or not that's a good win, but they've struggled to beat teams that aren't very good, and Notre Dame has been pretty dominant except for last night, and Ian Book has played phenomenal again except for last night. Still went 2020, as I just mentioned, but there's your playoff field. I think the committee did a pretty solid job. Now we're going to move on to reacting to New Year's 6 bowl games, and the Cotton Bowl is going to be played on Thursday, December 31st. It's going to be at around 7:15 Eastern Standard Time on ESPN, and it's going to be a good one. The Oklahoma Sooners and the Florida Gators. So the Big 12 champ against the SEC runner-up. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. I will preview and predict, again, all of these in maybe a week, a little bit over a week. I don't know what I'm going to do in that period, though. I'll probably take it off, enjoy Christmas, but I'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, Oklahoma, Big 12 champ, Florida, SEC runner-up in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. This is going to be a phenomenal game. This game has the potential to be really good. Of course, you see here Florida put up a fight against Alabama and Oklahoma while they dominated Iowa State. Barely held out in that game. This is a very intriguing matchup. Both offenses are high and flying. Both defenses have been questioned, although both defenses are still pretty solid. Oklahoma ended up being number 6 in the final rankings, and Florida ended up being number 7. This is going to be an absolutely phenomenal game. I honestly can't wait to watch this one. When I first saw this matchup, I thought, okay, this is a very, very solid game. Oklahoma definitely gets the field advantage because it's in Cotton Bowl Classic. This is in AT&T in Arlington, closer to Oklahoma than Florida. But it's going to be a very interesting matchup. This one's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Here's where the group of 5 team comes in. The game before the playoff semifinals, you have Cincinnati, who's the American Athletic Champion, and the Georgia Bulldogs, who was the runner-up in the SEC East. Both of these teams have played well in their own regards. Georgia's only 2 losses were to Alabama, who's number 1, and Florida, number 7, and SEC runner-up. Cincinnati gets number 8, and Georgia gets number 9. I think this is also going to be an intriguing game. I think Georgia is a lot better of a team now that JT Daniels is at the helm. And of course, Cincinnati, everybody talks about their defense. It's an absolutely stellar defense, and they have one hell of a quarterback in Desmond Ridder. Luke Fickell is also a fantastic coach. Georgia had a bit of a letdown this season, didn't really play as well as people thought they were going to, but they find their way into a New Year's Six Bowl. Again, COVID and all that pending, but this game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. We're 2 for 2 so far in good games. This is another pretty compelling matchup, in my opinion. This one's going to be the day after the playoff on January 2nd. That's the final day of bowl games. This one's going to be around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. The Oregon Ducks and Iowa State Cyclones were announced to play in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Of course, you knew Iowa State was going to get in here with the Big 12 runner-up, and of course, Oregon was going to get in here as the Pac-12 champ. It's just a matter of who they were going to play. Well, it turns out these 2 teams are going to be playing each other. This is an interesting matchup. Oregon won the Pac-12 because Washington was dealing with COVID problems. Now, that game against Washington, if that would have been played, they probably could have and maybe would have won that game. I think it would have been a pretty close competitive game. But regardless, Pac-12's champs ranked 25th in the poll, while Iowa State gets number 10. It seems like a lopsided matchup, but I don't think it is. Oregon has played really well. They played well against USC. They haven't really played too well as of late, but Iowa State was so close to winning their first conference championship since 1912. If Brock Purdy wouldn't have forced that throw, I think Iowa State could have had a great chance of still being able to win that game. They had a lot of time left on the clock. Regardless, though, this is the situation Iowa State finds themselves in. I think this is going to be a very compelling, competitive game. Again, Iowa State is playing some of their best football right now, and Oregon's coming off yet another Pac-12 championship. I think Iowa State's going to be the more hungry team, but it could be a very, very close matchup. We'll have to wait and see what the line is on this one. Then the final one that was announced, this is going to be, I believe, the final bowl game in bowl season, apart from, of course, the national championship game. But the Texas A&M Aggies, Aggie fans, you're going to feel like you got snubbed and left out of the playoffs, but you get a pretty intriguing matchup here with North Carolina. The SEC West runner-up in Texas A&M, playing the third highest team in the ACC. They would normally be second, but of course, Notre Dame, member of the ACC this year. So the third highest team in the ACC, as Clemson, Notre Dame, both in the playoff contractual agreement. Got to have an ACC team in here. So it is North Carolina. I think this is another intriguing matchup. Texas A&M has been criticized about their defense, and while it's been playing better, you're going to go up against a very high-flying offense in North Carolina. This matchup is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Texas A&M is going to come out in this game and play angry and play. They're going to come out and play angry. They're going to feel like they got snubbed from a playoff spot. While you're looking at North Carolina over here, Their last game, they beat Miami by a gazillion points, absolutely ran all over them. Their defense has been questioned. It's a young defense, but it's slowly getting better. I think North Carolina still has a lot to prove. This is going to be yet another interesting matchup. And I think all of the games that you saw here on the screen, whether it be the playoff semifinals or all the New Year's Six games, they're all going to be pretty intriguing games. This one in particular, I'm pretty excited to watch. I mean, two pretty opposite sides of the coin here. North Carolina had a better season, still not quite where people expected, while Texas A&M could have gotten a playoff spot, just missed out. They're going to come in this one, play angry. That's your Capital One Orange Bowl. And that's going to do it for my college football playoff and New Year's Six games reactions. Again, this was not a prediction. It was sort of a preview, but not a prediction by any means. Prediction for the college football playoff games and New Year's Six games will probably come, I'm probably going to say the day before the Cotton Bowl comes around, so you might see it on like December 30th. But regardless, these are going to be very, very interesting games to watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you're brand new to the channel or you just enjoy my content. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, and you can join Tailgate Nation. Leave a comment down below. You can tell me your thoughts on these games. You can tell me if you feel like the playoff committee got it right. I feel like a lot of you may disagree. Some of you may agree. Who knows? But you can for sure leave me your thoughts down in the comments. Also, share this video with everyone you know. I'm trying to grow the channel as big as possible, so it would mean a lot if you can share this video with everyone you know who likes college football as much as you and me. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all of you guys early tomorrow with bowl game predictions minus the New Year's Six and college football playoff. Goodbye.